Hey everybody, it's Eddie from Tokyo. This is your cryptocurrency update from Japan. I'm on CoinTokyo, my favorite online media source for cryptocurrency here. And there's an article. They got an exclusive interview on the 23rd from Justin Sun. And, I always knew that there was some connections between Ripple and TRON, but I didn't know how many actually. And in preparing this video, I discovered even a couple more. So I want to share those with you because if it surprised me, I think it'll surprise you as well. So in the beginning of the interview, he talks about his summit. Of course, there is a big TRON Summit coming up in January 17th and 18th in San Francisco. And 3 days ago, it was announced that Kobe Bryant is going to be the guest speaker. And Kobe, of course, is the absolutely amazing NBA star from the Los Angeles Lakers. He played with them for 20 years. He has, I think, 5 championships under his belt. And he is going to, I think, bring a lot of quality to that event. And if you didn't know, Kobe, his name, is actually named after Kobe beef. But I'm going to just tell you that if you're talking about the beef, you have to say Kobe. Kobe beef. That's how it's pronounced. So remember, E's are A's in Japan. But if Kobe wants to be called Kobe, then Kobe it is. But if you're talking about the beef, remember it's Kobe. All right, back to the article. He then tells us about his career early on. This is something else I didn't know. So when he finished his schooling, he went to the Beijing University, which is just huge. I think it's the #1 university in China. He got his master's degree from the University of Pennsylvania. And then in 2014, he returned back to China and started a company called Weibo. At the same time, concurrently, he worked as the head of Ripple China. So I knew he worked as the Ripple head in China, but what I didn't know, really, maybe I just forgot, but if we look at who invested into his company Weibo, we can see that IDG Capital and Chris Larsen, who is, of course, now the executive chairman of Ripple's board of directors, but he is the former CEO of Ripple and a co-founder, along with another gentleman by the name of Greg Kidd. And he was the former chief risk officer at Ripple Labs. So I guess I just forgot that if I had learned that before. I knew about Justin working for Ripple, but I didn't know that the original investment came from IDG and Chris and Greg. So when we look at this original announcement back in May of 2015, you can see that when Ripple Labs raised their 28 million, look at this, IDG Capital Partners again. So yeah, it just kind of now is very clear that IDG and Ripple and TRON and Weibo and Justin are very much woven together. Okay, so in 2017, Weibo kind of transformed and TRON was launched. And he acquired, of course, BitTorrent this year in 2018. And that was a pretty big deal because they have a reportedly user base of 170 million, and the protocol transfer volume is reportedly 40% of the internet traffic. So, wow. Back in 2012 was the first time he heard about Bitcoin. He didn't know at that time really what it was, and they didn't talk about it being a blockchain. They talked about it as a network of values. So just like in the early days of the internet, we used to call it the information superhighway. And then I think later it was called the World Wide Web. And those words are pretty much dead now. Everybody is referring to it as pretty much just the internet now. So then it goes into some questions. One of the questions was, what innovation are you currently working on? He cites a project called Atlas. He talks about also, when asked about the future, he says that Tron is going to be promoting content creation on the chain, and so concentrating on building a sound ecosystem. He wants an architecture that is reasonable, high efficiency, and convenient. And the aim is to create this distributed internet. So he believes that Tron will be the next Ethereum, and he would like all developers to come on to Tron. And so he's asked about his SNS because, as you know, he is a master of SNS. He himself personally has 2 million followers on Facebook. Tron has 630,000 followers on Facebook and 340,000 on Twitter. And when you combine also LinkedIn and Instagram, it includes a community of supporters that is 3.5 million. So he has a huge audience. He doesn't believe that these platforms, SNS, should only be used for announcements. No, he believes that you need to speak directly and sincerely to your community. So we all do know he communicates on a regular basis. Many founders, he says, hide behind the scenes, but he wants to sincerely communicate and communicate that the essence of the blockchain is a decentralized, autonomous organization. He, of course, will play a role in the governance framework and community management, but he believes the secret of success is sincere communication with its members and its community. And then he's asked about Japan. What does he think about Japan? Well, there are 3.5 million virtual currency holders here in this country, and he says it exceeds China even with a much smaller population. So with the 15 million or so people in the world that own cryptocurrency, he says that the proportion in Japan is high, and for that reason they closely watch Japan. They have created some special events just for Japan, including a special YouTube that is in Japanese channel, and he says the support is very strong. So how will the virtual currency industry go in the future? And he is talking about it's a rising industry, and we're really just at the beginning. And in regards to China, he has a research and development centers in both the United States and China. He wants to take advantage of both. And his focus is really right now watching what's happening in the US, in Korea, and in China. His decentralized application ecosystem just created a Chrome extension. He's got that plugs into the TRON X wallet. You know, he's got a lot of stuff. He's got video sharing, photo sharing, some gambling games, TRON chat. Yeah, I think the big promotion for his summit is he is quoted as saying, the summit in San Francisco will certainly surprise the industry. So this summit will break through industry barriers, seek out solutions, and share our vision of the future, and rapidly launch small and medium-sized blockchain projects with our technology. And at the end, he invited CoinTokyo to participate, which is great because that means we're going to get a lot of coverage from CoinTokyo direct from a Japanese perspective during that summit. Okay, so in addition to learning about those connections of investments, I also learned from this video when I was doing some research that when Greg Kidd was the chief risk officer of Ripple Labs back in 2015, he spoke to the Canadian Senate. And if you are new to the space, I can tell you for sure, watch this 40-minute video because Mr. Kidd does an excellent job to explain what Ripple is about, what it aims to do, and how it brings its value. So you can clearly understand what Ripple is all about after listening to this. However, what I learned, and I didn't know, is that Ripple has a spin-off company. And it says, according to Mr. Kidd, we have a spin-off company. He was asked to address how he makes money, how Ripple makes money. And he cites that the spin-off company could bring more revenue or more money to this layer, and that it too is a second possible revenue stream for Ripple Labs and or a subsidiary of Ripple Labs, and the company is an identity company. So I thought, wow, really? Okay, I just don't know about this. Well, here's the company. It's called GlobaliD, and it is where you can create your own portable digital identity and privately and securely identify yourself to sites and apps. So the main mantra here is that you own your identity and that is your right. But there is so much KYC now, and there is so much information we need to share with people. This is a concept that will be able to provide that sharing, but do it in a very private way. This company's had 5 investors and 2 partner investors, a total of about 6 million thus far. And what I didn't know, here's another new thing I learned, is that Monex is one of the investors. Monex is the company that took over the site that was hacked in Japan called CoinTokyo in January. And they are one of the investors in this company. This interwovenness just sometimes slays me. So in addition, we also have another ex-Ripple company employee working for GlobaliD. When you meet the team, you can see the first person listed here is Greg Kidd, and he's the co-founder and CEO. But you just come down here. This is Rebecca Schwartz. She worked at Ripple for 3 years and 2 months. And we come down to the advisors, and you'll find that Mr. Chris Larson is also on the team of advisors. So this is interesting, and you can sign up to be contacted when this app goes live, because it's not live yet. So go to globalid.net, put in your email address and sign up, and you'll be one of the first to know when the app is released. So stay tuned. So yeah, I learned a lot with this video. I hope you did too. All right, I am going to jump to the fluff. Do I have anything else? No. Let's go right to the fluff. So we're talking about Kobe beef. This is an example of Kobe beef. It is so yummy. It's a delicacy here. In fact, the ranking of Kobe beef starts where the United States ranking ends. So United States best is the start of the rank of the what's called Wagyu. Wagyu is Wa for Japanese, Gyu for cow, and the Wagyu beef is starting at that rank and goes up. Now, the Kobe beef is just a brand name. It's one of the many Wagyus in Japan, and it comes from a special cow that actually originated in China, 40,000 years ago. Yeah, and it came to Japan thousands of years ago too. In Japan, they didn't eat beef before. They used this cow as a work animal. And it wasn't until the Meiji Restoration, which is the mid-1800s, when Japan opened up to the West, that Japanese started to adopt some Western ways, and one of which was to eat beef. When they took their black cattle, which was used as that work animal, they crossed it with 3 breeds from Europe, 1 from Switzerland and 2 from the UK, and created this special cow, which has actually a very special gene. And the key to the success is that the cow lives a stress-free life. Now, you think I'm kidding, but I'm really not. There is a breeder who's been breeding for 50 plus years. He has now introduced how to breed and take care and create this beef to a rancher in the United States. So lucky for you in the US, you have access to this beef now. And if you watch this video, which is just fantastic, you're going to learn everything about the beef in Japan and how it's being taught to this rancher in, actually, tell you the truth, I didn't catch what state he's in, but in leading this stress-free life, it is really believed by Mr. Takeda, the cow has to enjoy his life to maximize the taste of the beef. And enjoying life, he has space, he eats grass, the cow doesn't receive drugs, and they lead a very happy life. In fact, they get daily massages. And I'm not joking on that. In the summertime, when it gets hot, they are given beer and they are fed kitten beer to stimulate their appetite so that they, I think, can put on weight. They are putting on weight for about 3 years. So if you've not ever tried Wagyu beef, please do when you come to Japan. And if you want to eat the brand that is called Kobe, it's great. But all the Wagyu beef is fantastic. I just think the Kobe brand has done a good job at branding itself. So maybe most people are familiar with that one. And I know if you're not a beef eater, no problem. But if you do enjoy beef, it is super yummy. It's a little on the fatty side. That's what gives it its taste and tenderness. But it's that marbled look is quite different than the beef that you see that comes out of Australia or the United States. Okay, everybody, that's all I have for you today. So please take care. Sayonara for now. Bye-bye.